We're not gonna be extra hype because we're not talking about just silly stuff today, man. YouTube, we gotta pour one out. Welcome to the basement. This is hip hop late night hip hop live. Bruce Lively here,
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
and of course, I'm sure you clicked on this because you saw the caption, you saw the title, and you saw the picture. DMX has been hospitalized. It was an overdose, suspected overdose. Also had a heart attack while he was there. D-Boy Slim is on the job. He's going to give us more information about it. But just so you know, welcome everybody.
I'm sure by now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pardon me. I'm sure by now the whole hip hop community is probably heard, but due to a drug overdose, DMX has been hospitalized, suffered a heart attack, um, and was pronounced in a vegetative, if I'm pronouncing that right, a vegetative state.
Vegetative, yeah.
Yeah, vegetative. Excuse me, a vegetative state. Um, there's been positive. There's been a positive update about his condition.
Really?
Actually, within the last couple of hours, they said they were able to take him off of the. Excuse me. They were able to take him off of life support, and he was able to breathe on his own. So that's one positive update that's come. His lawyer, not too within maybe the last hour or two, made a issued a statement and actually came, did a live report on his condition. And
Wow. So wait a minute. You know what? People, stay with us, bro. Stay with us because I'm gonna end the stream and I'm gonna rewrite what I wrote in the caption. I put before the last thing was doctor said he may not live. Now we're gonna say doctor says you're doing a little bit better. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna leave it alone. People know what it is. Um, wow, that's great news. The last thing I just put in the title, people clicking on it. That the last I heard, the doctor was like, he may not last that long.
yeah, initially when the reports came out, he was pronounced, like I said, in a vegetative state, and the the terminology used was in a grave condition.
Yeah.
So that's never good. But yeah, I mean, and it's not like he's in the clear now, but at least he's able to breathe on his own. His lawyer, like I said, his attorney came out and publicly made an announcement that he was able to breathe on his own, and they took him off the life support. But they said they're definitely still worried um, what his state is, the brain damage, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not in the clear, but all our thoughts and prayers go out to X and his whole family, to Shara, his sons, and any other family or extended family.
Yeah.
Listen, the whole Rough Riders, like our prayers and thoughts go out. Um, yeah, man. As I was just telling you off the air, it's sad, but it's very real because when I heard it, as I got into my car, of course, you know, the better part of you said, you know what? Let me knock some X. Let me bump some X in the ride. And
Yep.
Immediately when I tapped into his catalog, I was reminded of just how great X was. One of the greats for sure. One of the best of all time for sure. MC, rappers, whatever category you choose to categorize, he fits the description of all of that. He's one of the best ever. Um, at a time when New York needed a face, and you know, Diddy had it on Smash with the shiny suits and it's no respectfully, there's no disrespect to how Puff went about it, but at that particular time when X broke through, I think this is the late '90s. The streets needed somebody. The
Yeah.
streets needed somebody, and he was definitely that answer. He was definitely that answer. That edge, that East Coast grimy, gritty in the streets with it. X was definitely all of that, man. X was definitely all of that.
Uh,
Give me a couple. Give me a couple of your favorite X songs, man.
so um, I won't give you just the song, but it's dark and hell is hot. That whole album, from the prayer in the beginning to the prayer at the end. From the song where he's talking to the devil and trying to fight the devil to get off his shoulder, all the way to the songs where he's just being gritty and grimy and talking about how they coming straight from the daggone garbage cans. It's hard to remember the name of any song in particular, but as you can tell, I remember the entire album, song for song, as soon as you put it on, because it had that much of an effect on me. His name is Dark Man X, right? It's the exact opposite of the shiny suit. Dark Man X, I think, was necessary for people who deal with the other side of this life, man. The depression, the not sleeping at night, why you turn to drugs. There's a whole lot of reasons why he was necessary. Not to mention,
good point.
Good point. He told that story better than anybody, and as he's fighting right now, because of the demons that were on his back, you can never say that when he said what he meant in that album and what that album sounded like wasn't true. He's the person who's lived out every one of those lyrics. And if hip hop is about authenticity, then I don't know who's more authentic than X. And what also comes to mind is the fact that he always had religious symbolism, religious tones in his music. Somebody said today, and I would like to know what you think about this, that there is probably people who were saved, and people who know what that means, to turn to Christ, to turn to Jesus, if that's what you believe, through his music, even when he was being attacked by Beelzebub himself. And that just means a lot, because that made me remember, man, he was always about, no matter what he was going through, he made sure on his album, somewhere, more than once, he was going to tell you where to look. And it wasn't to him. Right? And that means something. It means something. What do you think about that? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that's excellent point, bro. That's excellent point. All solid, all facts. Yeah, he's one of the few, if not the only one that I know that I've known to do that, where he can go so far into the streets, and then, like you said, first of all, I think what makes X is his humility. Um, Being able to be vulnerable. We've heard him cry, pray, whether it be on stage, live performance, or on his album, when he puts it on his album. Yeah, it makes him that much more of a diverse and complete MC. Like you said, you hard pressed, finding somebody that has more gritty lyrics than X, and that that he's lived it.
Yeah.
We know that he's lived it, We never heard X say I sold 100 keys. But we did hear X say I would rob you with my dog.
Right.
I happen to be privileged enough to have read his autobiography in the backstory and his background and whatnot.
Really? Talk about it.
He lived a rough life, you know, even for the average dude, you know, coming out of New York, and obviously he's from upstate New York in Yonkers, but still in all, he's lived a rough life, and not just because, you know, all of us have probably lived struggles or whatever, but he was the kid. He was the kid that had it hard in the projects. Like like if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um, he was the kid, you know, if other kids had two caring parents, even in the projects, or one caring parent, I think, you know, if I'm not mistaken, he had a father that he never, you know, he never caught up with or was never around, never gave a damn. His mother had all kind of brothers living in the house. You know,
Mm.
he was sent away to like a boarding house or you know, some type of boarding program early on in life where his mother just sent him away. Um, when he did live in a house, like I said, he had to share rooms or and beds and clothes with his uncles and stuff like that. Like he really had a hard life. So in and out of, obviously that led down the path of in and out of jail early. You know, and anybody that if you picked up on X's story in the mid to late '90s, then you know like jail is just became a part of who he was.
Yeah, it's just another.
Sadly enough, you know,
It's just another
jail,
place to be.
it was definitely a heavy factor in his life, and like I said, a lot of it stems from his childhood.
I
So
want to touch on what depression means, though, like in that context too. When you say that, there's a reason why jail, to someone like X, to the dark man himself, is just another place. I believe he was in the prison of his mind for way longer than he was ever in a physical one. That type of childhood that you just spoke about, and then what ends up coming out on that album is dark is hot. I mean, it's dark outside and hell is hot. I think that's the name of it. Man, I barely remember, but I know every song. I promise you. But hearing the lyrics, hearing those beats, hearing the story he told, you could tell he was in a prison. There's not much that a physical prison can do to you when you're mental one. When depression has such a strong hold on you, like you don't just turn to the cracks, right? And we're just gonna say it out. I mean, we all here, we grown, we know this whole story. It's not like we're sharing new news. He overdosed, which I don't know if I've ever heard of crack overdosing somebody. But then again, I don't know many crackheads with enough money to make that happen. I guess, but whatever. We'll talk about that another time. But you don't turn to that for no reason. I believe that the prison he was in his mind was way worse than any physical one, right?
back.
So sleeping at night is already hard. Who cares if it's on a cot or a luxury bed? Uh, Walking around being normal is already hard enough. Who cares if it's in the yard or you know what I'm saying, in your room? So I have a feeling that that's another reason why he touched so many. It wasn't just because of the message he was putting on his album of where to look, which I said before, but it was also, like I said, it touched a lot of people who have that darkness and have no way to express it. It wasn't ever really cool. It wasn't. It hip hop didn't have that. It was lacking that at that time. It was a lot of shiny suits. It was bling bling. It was look at how awesome everything is all the time. You can get to mixtapes, and I know you have a plethora of things that said something different. But to be in that space, that popular space, that radio space, Swiss Beats space, and be that dark, that depressed, that honest with those thoughts
That's different.
was
That's
just
different,
not
man.
heard, and people needed that, man. I know
That's
people went
different,
through
bro.
it. What's your
And
favorite song?
he's, you know what, you bring up an excellent point, bro. You bring up an excellent because that has everything to do with where he's at right now.
Yeah,
And that's an excellent point, bro. That's an excellent point. Yeah, you don't see that a lot, and it's not like other artists. or just us as people and human beings are not going through something, or everybody's just strong enough to weather the storm, or everybody's strong enough to carry the weight. You know, he was somebody. You know, you look at a figure like DMX as a strong person. When truthfully, you know, like you said, that depression, it'll eat you inside out. It'll eat you inside out.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's an excellent point you brought up, because the whole idea of him being Dark Man X, like you said, that whole idea, and I know you relate with that a lot.
Yep.
That whole idea comes from that being in that type of space.
Definitely.
Comes from being in that type of space. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to, you could replace the dark in his name with the D for dark in his name to depressed man X. Like,
well,
you know, it's
dark.
that serious.
Dark is simply the metaphor for depressed. It was. That's what it meant. That's what it meant. And he didn't hide it. That's what it meant. That's exactly what dark meant. It didn't mean dark. When he said it's dark outside, he wasn't talking about the sunlight. Right? It's dark in the daytime for him. I believe that's exact. He was exactly targeting that. And I want to say out here,
his lifestyle.
Exactly. He was dark. Brian Guilford, I see you, man. Much love. Much love. Give it all up, man. Give it all up, man. DMX deserves it. But yeah, so I believe that he was open with it. And I just want to say this to people who've gone through or are going through depression, especially in our community where it's seen as something that you know, have to hide or just get over it because you're not strong enough. The strongest man that you will ever know was DMX, and he dealt with depression, but he didn't deal with it in a way that may have been helpful. He turned to the drugs, and if you're out there, man, and you feeling that, there's numbers to call, and I wish I had one right now, but I do know that there's hotlines and numbers to call, and before we get off this, I'm gonna have a few for you. I'm gonna look them up right now. So I mean that's serious, man. And nobody was doing it, nobody was saying it. But if you think that the hood is all sweet or everybody's making money and everybody's okay with killing, everybody's a hitman, nobody 60 to 70% of all of those people who, if they actually really did go through it, and that's what they're talking about, even though they're rapping about it because hip hop is an expression like any art, I promise you, they may not say it, but 60 to 70% of them also are going through certain stages of depression because you don't live that life. You don't see your mom smoke crack and not be affected by that. You don't see friends die and not be affected by that. You don't see good people turn to crackheads in front of your eyes that you maybe used to respect while growing up and then sell to them as you get older. Doesn't affect you. You can rap about it and you can paint it. You can write it. Langston Hughes would tell you can write about it. But to act like it doesn't affect them, or if you think that they're not affected by it, you're wrong. 60 to 70% of people.
This is why the streets felt DMX. This is
right. Exactly. What's your favorite song, man? We'll get to a little lighter note while I'm looking this up.
Oh, man. I thought about it. I got a couple of them, man. That Tales from the Dark Side. That's one I found myself knocking with. Man, he gets real dark on that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to say one that I think, you know, applies to him to this day. It's wild when real life imitates your art, or vice versa. Your art imitates real life.
Yeah.
Slipping.
Oh.
Slipping. And I can't get up.
There it is. It's dark outside and hell is hot. Both of those was on that same album, wasn't it?
That was Slipping was on his Hell is Hot. That was his first album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them was on that. See, I'm saying I may not remember them names. That's the X. That's the X right there.
That's the one that applies to the day. like you said, he was constantly fighting a battle within himself. He was constantly fighting demons, and his music reflected that.
Yep.
Which is the mark of a good, is the indication of a good artist.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's how you know. That's the indication of a great artist.
They're putting their truth. They're putting their truth in the music.
Yep. Every time. Listen up, people. 470-201-5052. I'm saying it like the military so that there's no numbers get misconstrued. You don't have to tell anybody else. Understand that I know it personally. I understand depression personally. I understand actual clinical depression personally, PTSD personally. I'm going to tell you right now, 470-201-5052 is my gift to you. Call it. Call it. There's better ways of dealing with it than what we are all going to deal with today. Speaking of dealing with it, I saw your boy.
Okay, you know what, too? I'm like, and I just want to say something, bro. Like, it's okay. Like, one thing X should have showed people, and I'm that way sometimes, and Bruce can attest to it. Like, it's okay to show emotion. It's okay sometimes. Like, it's okay if you. Sometimes you gotta cry. Sometimes you feel like you want to cry. Like, it's okay. It's okay to talk to somebody about your problem. I know we supposed to be men. And black men at that, we're supposed to be the ones that carry all the weight of the world on our shoulders and be strong and hard body and solid and everything like that. It's okay. It's okay.
It is.
It's all right to show emotions
sometimes. There's a word, emotional intelligence, that women have a lot of, and men have been stunted because it doesn't help to show emotions when you're chasing down the tiger in the Serengeti, right? And it's chasing down a lion a couple thousand years ago. But what we realize is that it's an intelligence, and you actually can become a better leader if you understand how to better utilize your emotions, how to actually show your emotions without it affecting who you are, with you being able to cry and be strong at the same time. Heightens an emotional intelligence in you that can make you a better leader. So you know what I mean? We've pushed that away for many years. I think in today's world it's becoming more and more well known, but I had to learn that early. With all of my emotional issues, I had to learn that early, because if I didn't, I would have felt less than all my life. But what I found is that when I actually am not scared and brave enough to show my actual true emotions, it actually makes me a better leader. It makes me more relatable to other people who were scared to cry. And it also helps me understand other people who need to cry. It makes you a better leader just being in touch with that self. Did you see K-Shine? Did you see what K-Shine said?
What he said?
Man, K-Shine, basically he didn't even say his name, man, but he just cried. He just went live and started crying. And he was like, I'll never let you guys down. I'll never make you guys feel like this. And it came from a frustration of, you could tell that he loved, he was a fan, he was a stan. Like, he probably would have followed DMX. Yeah, he would have followed DMX anywhere. K-Shine the battle rapper, yes. And you could tell he was talking from such a frustration of love. He was just crying, and was like, I'll never make you guys feel like this. Follow me, trust me. And it was the way that he dealt with his emotions, not being afraid to cry, actually put him in a position of leadership in his mind. You know what I'm saying? It's funny that both of them, both of those two things can happen. Him actually crying and showing his emotion live turned him into, or at least made him say those things that wasn't about comfort. It was about, follow me. I'm going to lead you down. I will never go this route. You know what I mean?
That's inner strength right there.
Inner strength.
You draw strength from that.
Wow. Yeah, I saw it. I was touched.
That's deep.
I was.
Because if you know, you never know where artists or just us as people brought inspiration from.
Yeah.
And like I said, X was one of those. It wouldn't surprise me from the oddest places and oddest walks of life if I heard them come out and say how they was inspired by DMX.
Yep.
Like it wouldn't surprise me. DMX was one of those dudes because he poured his heart on the track. You're gonna feel it, and if you've been through something in life, it's gonna hit you. You're gonna identify with the pain that X put in his music. So yeah, man, that's deep though. It's deep. I didn't know K-Shine was such a big DMX fan.
I didn't either.
Influenced by X.
But you could tell it was not, he was not a casual fan. Like he that was him. You know, you could tell, like you could just tell that he was not a casual fan. It was no cap. This dude was hurt in multiple ways, because he probably looked up to X, and then to see him fall like this, I think he's probably going through certain stages of grief, and he's at the anger point. That's how serious. You know what I'm saying? There's all types. There's 7 stages.
To the whole community. It hit the whole hip hop community hard.
Yep.
It hit the whole hip hop community hard. Like, not like you said, we all grown here. Everybody probably had their DMX jokes and whatnot and have you. But at the end of the day, I think collectively, we all wanted to see X win.
Yeah.
We all wanted to see X kick this habit. We all wanted to see, X push forward and be the best X that he could be, And yeah, it hit the whole hip hop community as a whole hard. It hit us hard.
So K-Shine, we're with you, man. You're not alone, bro. And I respect what you did, man. If you get a chance, go check it out. Go check it out. My man. D-Boy Slim. Oh, dang, I almost forgot your name, man. Going in. I'm like, Slim, you gotta check that out, bro. Just watching him, it brings a whole new perspective on Shine. You just wouldn't expect that from him. But yeah, man.
The first album, that's your favorite joint, huh?
That's it, man. And Slippin', the two songs that you just named are some of the main reasons why. The one where he's talking to the devil, and he's playing both characters. That one, I mean, it's so high up on the list. Listen.
What is it, Damien?
Yes, Damien, who happens to be you know the name.
Man.
Right? You feel me? Like, that touched me in a way, personally.
Yeah, okay.
Think about that. Think about that name. People who know me understand what that means. That's personal right there. I'm not even going to say it live on here, but wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes artists can just touch you, man. Just by telling their life, their story. And that's it, man. I wanted to say to his family, I'm sure they're not watching a poor little show like this. But if you happen to be, our thoughts are with you, our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you.
X get well soon, bro. We all praying for you. We all rooting for you out here, chick.
The big news broke by D-Boy is that he's now breathing on his own. Whereas if you're reading the title, it says doctors say he may not live. That was hours ago. Now, at least it's getting better. He's not out of the woods, but at least he's not on life support anymore. I appreciate that news there, Slim. So, without further ado, you guys also know usually tonight would be the recap. Cassidy versus Hitman Holla.
Oh yeah, all the battles. We got y'all coming. We definitely had to get that out. We would be irresponsible to have a hip hop platform and not give mention to DMX. So we definitely got y'all coming on the battles with y'all thought, feedback, and all of that. Who won between Cassidy and Hitman? How was the battle itself? All of that. We got y'all coming.
So
And any latest updates on DMX, you definitely hear us mention it throughout our shows and whatnot.
yeah, uh we'll definitely get with it. All I can tell you is I was surprised at this battle. Of course, we saw the whole thing. We're gonna go ahead and do a little bit more looking at it. It was an hour long. The daggone crowd was just ridiculous. I mean, every time it's in Atlanta, we'll talk about that. Uh, Cassidy came to show and prove. Hitman came to show and prove. We're not gonna call any winners or losers here today, but I remember. Let's
think about the RBE showing. What was it? Was it overall a good show on RBE?
Yeah, because the battles were good. There was one or two rinky dinks new guys that was just like, I don't know who this is, but there was a dude named Breed, young cat named Breed. I think this was like his first big time battle, and he was cooking. People was like, who is this? So the mere fact that they had some good battles. Unfortunately, Big K was the worst battle of the night, because nobody knows who Clone is, and there's a reason why. Because that dude, I turned it off. Listen, you guys can go on Patreon in a few days. We put up all of this stuff so you can see it. If you're a patron, you're gonna get all of these live, 100% from the beginning to end, except for that battle because I turned it off halfway through the first round. I was done. It was that bad. It was like watching a high school battler. Like it was bad, bro. It was bad. And you could just tell K Shine was like, why am I here? I mean, not K Shine, Big K. You could just tell, like, he was like, why am I here? Why am I here?
Yeah, ARP might have fumbled the ball on that one. There's some type of discrepancy going on as to why they pulled out of the battle between Big K and Sirius Jones. There was some type of discrepancy between Sirius Jones and RBE. So I don't know what happened there, but I guess at the last minute they threw Clone in there, which
and that was the worst thing I've ever seen. He did not belong on that stage, anywhere close to that stage. It was bad. That's the only one I turned it off. Like I said, man, if this camera don't, I'll tell you what. We're going back to old school, man. I'm trying to get 3D on y'all. When the truth is, we talking about DMX. I should have known. We should just kept it old school from the beginning. Here we go, people. There it is. So, yeah, it was RBE's best platform for as far as I was concerned. Usually, it looks a little rinky dink. Usually, it's kind of like, for me, RBE is always that one step below the URL. But this time, they had a big old screen in the back playing, doing all types of little.
Stepped it up.
Yeah, doing things that just kept you looking and entertained and kept it flowing. I was happily surprised. And that battle was the best I've ever seen Cassidy in a battle. Not to say I've seen him a lot, because I haven't. I don't know where his thousand. Nobody. We always asking where them 1,000 battles come from, but as far as I've seen of him on an actual battle stage, it was the best I've seen from him. Anime waifu the hip hop head said, "R.I.P. DMX." Yeah, man. I'm sorry you just tuned in, my dear. If it looks like a female's picture, I don't know. If not, my fault, man. Anime. We just went in 30 minutes about it, man. About depression, about what he means to us. Go ahead, feel free to type it on there, Anime. We moved on to the battle right now. But it was the best I've seen Cassidy. I think Hitman, it may have been one of his best. But he always comes so hard, it's hard to say. But it was well worth it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to watch it again, analyze the lyrics. Usually we come on here afterwards to break it down for you, but this time DMX was more important, and I'm glad we got to talk about that. I'm glad we handed out that hotline number for other people who are depressed. I say we're going to save that battle. It was dope. It was dope. Trust me. We'll talk about it next time. What are we doing? What are we doing? Sunday or Monday? What do you got, D-Boy?
Definitely. Within the next 24 to 48, we could go ahead and recap that.
All right, there you have it, guys. Whoa. Late Night Hip Hop Live. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. We know everybody out there is feeling it. Anybody have anything to say? Gina, Golden Eyes, Anime, Brian Guilford. We thank you guys for tuning in. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to show your emotions. That's how you get over them. Keeping them in never works. We just keep it real here. We just keep it real here. With that being said, D-Boy, you got anything more to say?
I'm off this. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Please, Golden Eyes, Gina, Anime, and Brian, don't be afraid to keep on in the comments. I'm joining everybody in the comments in just a second. We're about to end this. Peace.